our Facebook Live up and running at the moment. We have an incredible guest this evening who we are so excited to share the next hour with. She'll be joining us shortly. Sophie Grace Holmes is a fanatical fitness buff, health and nutrition enthusiast, speaker, and blogger who is sharing her inspiring stories with the world. She's also a personal trainer, fitness model, and sports massage therapist. She does it all, and she has some incredible adventures that she has been on while inspiring the entire cystic fibrosis community. So we will be jumping online with her here in the next 15 minutes or so. And we want to thank everybody out there in Facebook land for always tuning in and dropping the comments. Thank you to all of our subscribers on the Piper's Angels YouTube channel. We're almost at 100 subscribers. So if you're out there watching or listening, please jump on YouTube, subscribe to Piper's Angels Foundation. We appreciate the support. And as always, if you want to leave a review on any of our guests or the show, please do so on our Facebook page. We appreciate all the epic love and support. Hello, Blair.
Hello.
Welcome.
I'm here.
You are.
Just in case you're wondering where I am.
Yeah, our veggie burger and fries ran us a couple minutes behind.
Yeah, we were extremely hungry. Sorry about that, guys. And to add on what Travis was just saying, if you have an inspiring story or you know of someone with an inspiring story that you think would be a great guest on our show, please send me an email, blair@pipersangels.org.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
would be wonderful. So we're going to kick it off with some updates to the Crossing for a Cure. And to give you some registration report here, we are at a total of 129 registered paddlers in all different divisions: Dory, OC6, Prone Stock, Sup 14, two-person Prone Stock Relay, two-person Sup Relay, four-person Sup Relay, and we have several nonprofits in our nonprofit category, which if you didn't know, this year for registered and validated nonprofits that are participating in the Crossing, 50% of their fundraising will go back to their own organization or cause, which we are super excited about.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so if you total the non-registered teammates in paddlers, I believe we're at 170 paddlers.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're only 30 away from our goal this year, which was 200 paddlers. And so we're really rocking and rolling, and we're just kind of hitting our stride with the Crossing for a Cure. And we are nearly, we just broke 185,000 in fundraising as of today. So we're inching our way towards the $200,000 mark there, which will be 40% of our total fundraising goal.
Wow.
Boom.
Boom goes the dynamite.
So thank you to everybody out there who's supporting our incredible teams and paddlers. A big shout out to Matthew Lavinia with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. They are our top fundraising team, coming in at 110,000 in fundraising, which is just unbelievable. And so it's been quite an adventure the last couple weeks. We had our storytelling night this past Saturday.
We did. It was awesome.
Yeah, at the Florida Surfing Museum. It was a great venue.
Yep.
If you're ever looking to book an incredible venue here in Palm Beach County, that's an awesome one. The great space, really nice stage setup. It's really an iconic collection of surfing history that they've got on display. So make sure you check it out. We'll share their page on our page and show them some love. Stop by if you haven't ever been through that museum. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, really, really nice people that own it as well. So.
Yeah. So what did you think about the storytelling night? What was your takeaway?
My takeaway was it was fantastic. I met a lot of people that were there to check out and see if they were interested in doing the crossing. Families were there from the first crossing. We did a timeline from the first crossing all the way to present. Got to hear all the stories along the way. I mean, it was nothing but love. I mean,
there were a lot of new people there.
There was a lot of new people there. I was working the welcome table for a while, and people were walking in and kind of checking out what I had on the welcome table. And I was asking them, are you familiar with the foundation? And they were like, yeah, a little, and, we're thinking about doing it. Lots of couples that were thinking about doing it together. That's kind of a trend this year.
It is. It's definitely a trend. And I think it has a little bit to do with, the fact that if you're going to go on a big adventure, you want to do it with somebody, or you want to do it with a group of friends, you really want to sign up for something that, like, whether it's any of these adventure races or Spartan races, things like that. It's always more fun when you do it with friends.
I agree completely. And not everyone has the benefit of getting to know everybody involved in the foundation and kind of having that family unit already. So I think it's, important to bring your significant other or a friend to do it with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you are doing it this year.
I am.
Tell me about your team.
So I have Heidi K, which she paddled for the first time last year. I have Becky Burke, which she is a new paddler. And then I have Stephen Poskett, which Stephen is also a new paddler that lives in the same condo building as me, that I saw walking by with a surfboard one day. And then the next time I saw him, I was like, hey, you, I saw you with a surfboard. You got a paddleboard? And he was like, yeah. I was like, you want to do Crossing Frontier? You heard of it? He's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, you want to come to the meeting tonight? He was like, yeah. And then the next day he signed up.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Great recruitment.
I know. I really wanted to have a full team. I wanted to get a full team early and have it all set and ready to go so we could kind of bond and get to know each other a little bit. I already know Heidi very well.
Yeah.
So I think it's important, as we were just saying, do it with your significant other or somebody you're comfortable with to kind of make the experience more meaningful. I think that's important. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I had a great time on Saturday at the event, and it was really special as always, to hear everyone's stories. There were a couple I hadn't heard, which made it even funnier.
Have you heard the do-rag story?
No, I didn't. I didn't hear that story, but I could not. I was laughing so hard I was crying.
I mean, that was hysterical. And Lynn is like the cutest little thing ever, just up there telling that story, and she was so animated, and it was awesome.
Yeah. We want to give a birthday shout out to Mr. Paul Smolchek. His 50th birthday.
Wow.
Paul is an advisor to the board with the Piper's Angels Foundation. He's going on a 2-time Crossing Crusader. He just got a 50th birthday tattoo. That's really cool. Yep. It's the Invictus poem. And so, yeah, send in some love to Mr. Paul Smolchek.
Happy birthday, Paul. And did you know we have a double birthday today in the Crossing family?
What's the double birthday?
Danny Diaz.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
That's right. Are they on the same day?
I think so.
Well, the double birthday for Danny and Paul.
Happy birthday to
We should not sing.
We won't do the whole
Hey, thanks to the 12 viewers we have out there in Facebook land for tuning in. If you have any questions tonight, please drop them in the comment box, and we will help answer them if we can. Please don't ask any complicated or too highly intellectual questions.
No math
We're
questions.
just simple folks here at the Epic Love Radio Show. We're more about love than we are about algebra.
Did you guys see that new cystic fibrosis movie coming out?
Yes.
We have.
My mom was watching, we were watching a commercial for it, and my mom was just like, what is that? I was like, that's CF. And she's like, what's CF? I was like, cystic fibrosis. She's like, why is there 5 feet between them? I'm like, Mom, let me check you out on this. I got you. And she was just like, how do you know about this? I'm like, see, what happened was, and I was telling her about the show and everything like that. She's like, that's really cool. I didn't know anything about this, or yada, yada, yada.
It's great that movie's coming out, because even if there are inaccuracies in it, it's going to bring awareness to cystic fibrosis.
Honestly, I didn't know about cystic fibrosis until you guys came along, and I'm just like, wow, I had no idea.
That's our mission, Dee.
Yep. Well, yeah, it comes out, so 5 Feet Apart comes out on March 15th, and we're actually going to rally. I already called the movie theater here locally at Cobb, and we're going to set up a time for all of us to go to the movie together.
Cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, everybody can make their judgments, but at the end of the day, they're telling, a young love story, and it'll bring more awareness to CF one way or another. And for those who don't know what it is, they're going to get to learn. Piper's already read the book, so she really loved the book. And, even for Piper to be able to have something that's a little more mainstream, that kind of, because in the CF community, oftentimes things can be very isolated to the CF community. And it's nice to carry that message beyond, like we do here with the show. The whole point is to offer something that can transcend beyond the boundaries of our own community and challenges that we face, to invite in other people to learn and educate them about cystic fibrosis and to share the inspiring stories of love through action, like Sophie Grace Holmes, who's going to be joining us here in just a few minutes. Thank you to Gloria, my mom, for tuning in, to Bruce, Buzz, and Pedro. Welcome to the Epic Love Radio Show. Thank you. And yeah, what's up next?
Okay, next up we have, something we need to continue to talk about is the Mind Body Expo.
Oh, yeah.
March 23rd.
Stoked for this.
I am too. I'm really excited. Did you know this is a free event, by the way?
I did not.
This is a free
It shouldn't
event.
be. They should be charging.
This is a free event. I got on there to buy tickets just to kind of see what, the range was, and it's just an RSVP thing. So everyone, we are going to be there March 23rd. It's at Old School Square in Del Rey. It will be a magical experience, and we will be there spreading the message of wellness and sustainability. The day will be action-packed with fitness demos, phenomenal speakers, vegan food, and awesome vendors for the whole family to enjoy.
Sweet. Now, when you say magical, are they going to be like fairies with pixie dust, or is it just going to be? So. Is it going to be kind of the ordinary magic that we just carry with us always?
I was kind of thinking us.
Okay.
But
well, yeah. I mean, we're going to have. This will be the first big event in South Florida where we're going to have our media tent set up with the Epic Love booth, and we'll have flyers and information there about who we are and what we do. And we're really looking to meeting everybody out in the community because as much as we love being in this studio, we love being out there too.
We do. It's a little lonely in here sometimes.
Okay, so Nikki said, I wish I could go to the movie with you all. Great idea to go together. Thank you, Nikki. Appreciate that. We're very excited. We're going to be putting an event page up on Facebook for the 5 Feet Apart movie that we're all going to go see together here in the local community. And yeah, I am really excited about the Mind Body Expo. I mean, these are topics. We'll be talking about fitness and health today with Sophie. And it's something, if you really like Epic Love yourself, you should probably be thinking about these things. Yeah, it should be top of mind.
Yeah, it's pretty important. At least in my book. I care about myself a little bit.
What's in your book? And what's the title of your book?
Where's Blair?
Oh, where is Blair? She's not in the accounting department.
Where's Blair? A story of anxiety, paddling, and I don't know. We're still working on it. But
we're figuring it out.
Yeah, we're figuring it out.
And a co-host of the Epic Love Radio.
Yeah, exactly.
So we also, hey, Sean, thanks for joining. Sean Timms. He is the director of our Salt Supply program. We also are going to be transitioning the show from this studio location to our new studio location in Jupiter, Florida. And that should be an awesome new location where we can host not only our guests, but their friends and family. We can have small events. And it's right around the corner from some infamous bars and restaurants in Jupiter, Florida, which will make it very festive. And we're counting down to our 50th episode.
April 10th is our 50th episode.
What?
I know.
5-0.
Did you know that, I guess what, at the beginning of March, I will have known you guys for 1 year? 1 year.
I know, but it feels like forever.
I know.
50 episodes deep.
I know.
That's deep.
Isn't it amazing that you can meet somebody for like a short amount of time and have like such a deep connection
yes.
with somebody?
Oh my gosh.
Like my best friend that you met, everybody thinks that we have been best friends for years, and we really haven't. Like we've only been like good friends for like the last year that we've lived together.
Yeah.
And everybody was just like, oh, you guys grew up together. I'm like, no. They're like, you guys aren't like blood related. I'm like, no. They're like, you guys know each other for years. No, only for like a year. They're like, wow, that's crazy. If I was a stranger and I saw you two, I'd be like, yo, they grew up together. Or had to be friends in high school.
Well, look at that. Thanks, Dee.
Yeah.
Your chemistry is amazing. I love you two together in this show. It's awesome.
Thanks,
and I'm going to
Dee.
miss you guys.
Oh, Dee, don't get me all emotional, Dee.
Dee's going to come visit us often
I'm
out
gonna miss
at
her.
our new location.
I have to. I'm going to be like, I just needed my Epic Love fix.
What are we going to do, Dee?
Hashtag duty. Thank you to Dave Zinkus for joining out there. What's up, brother? So that new location will be great because you'll be able to come out and be a part of the show.
Woo.
And it's going to bring a whole new dimension.
Yes, and we're planning a 50th episode celebration. So stay tuned. We'll get that information out on the show shortly and on social media.
Time to celebrate. Come on. Yeah. 50th episode.
Woo-hoo.
I'm ready. I'm ready right now.
There's gonna be lots of that
Right
going
now.
on. Lots of singing
And dancing.
and dancing.
And epic loving.
I just
Yeah,
see
I
you
love
as SpongeBob. I'm ready.
All right. And so if you are just tuning in, please subscribe to the Piper's Angels YouTube channel because we're gunning for our 100 subscribers. I think we're at 85, so we only got 15 to go. And that will allow us to have our custom URL on YouTube, Piper's Angels, YouTube at Piper's Angels. So we're excited about that. And we're actually going to be posting a new video soon that is a very inspiring kind of behind-the-scenes music video of a young girl locally here, Cassidy Taylor, who wrote a really inspiring song about living with cystic fibrosis, and been working with Cassidy and a vocal coach, Samantha Russell Band. Thank you so much. We recorded at Echo Beach Studios in Jupiter. Thank you to Echo Beach Studios for providing that space and the services. And thank you to Cassidy's mom, Lisa, for being such a rock for her and bringing this to life. We're super excited. We're going to be sending that out via our constant contact email probably tomorrow or the next day. And so that's why we're rallying to get our subscriber base up so we can share it with the world.
Well, now you have 79 viewers because as subscribers, I just
Oh,
subscribed.
thanks, Steve.
Steve.
All right, there we go. We're bumping it up. Oh, we got another. Oh, there she is. Oh, there she is. I just got your notification.
Thanks,
Very
Steve.
nice.
Appreciate you. All right, we got about 2 minutes till Sophie calls in. You want to give her a nice little intro?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, so Sophie Grace Holmes. Now, how did we first get introduced to Sophie?
So someone's and I'll have to go back and look, but somebody sent me her Instagram page, and I started going after her to come on the show. And we were going back and forth and couldn't really come up with a date. She was getting ready to hike the Himalayas and do all these crazy things, so her schedule was booked. And then she got in touch with Heidi Kay, who is my team member, and it kind of reignited getting her on the show and getting her to do the crossing.
Yeah. It was a great kind of confluence of different things. And I had somebody mentioned to me before that, like, hey, have you heard of Sophie Grace Holmes? And I hadn't. And so when I finally went and checked her out, I mean, it just blew my mind. You know, and this is like, to me, she is the greatest example because she's a female with cystic fibrosis. She's really charging hard. She's living her life in a bold and daring way. And it's a great example for Piper, which is why, you know, for me personally, we're doing all this, you know, is to help give Piper a really great provider with some really great examples for, you know, living life to the fullest. So I'm going to drop Sophie's web address for her website right here in the comments. So if you guys want to check out her page while she's on the show, Sophie is an extreme athlete, definitely an extreme athlete, an adventurer. She's an inspirational speaker, a personal trainer, fitness model, and sports massage therapist. So she really is well-rounded in a lot of different areas. And I got to talk to her recently on the phone with Sean Timms, our Salt Supply director. And we had a great conversation about her potential participation in the Crossing for a Cure and our Salt Supply program. So we're very excited about that. And Sean just commented, Sophie is so inspiring. She really gets after it every day and shows the limitless possibilities of any CF patient. That is a fact, for sure.
Absolutely. And, you know, I loved her Women's Health magazine, which I also shared on our Facebook page if you're interested in checking that out. And it was Beating Cystic Fibrosis Through Positivity.
Oh, I like it. That's great. Well, we talk about promoting the positive here on the show.
Yep.
And it's really that attitude, that's choice. And, you know, a choice is a gift. So if we treat all our choices like gifts, then hopefully we make good ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would hope so, at least.
Yeah. Thanks to Gary Allen for tuning in. Awesome. Appreciate it. Everybody tuning in here tonight. And so it's interesting because I was reading on her website that she scaled Mont Blanc, Mount Kilimanjaro, and Grand Paradiso.
Yep.
I don't know if I pronounced all those correctly.
I don't either. Close enough.
But, you know, it's really interesting because with cystic fibrosis, most people, they, you know,
altitude is
their friend.
Yeah,
altitude, you have less oxygen. So I'm really curious to hear kind of the stories behind, you know, those adventures and she most recently hiked the Himalayas.
Yeah, that was the scheduling conflict we couldn't get past. She's like, "Oh, I'll be hiking the Himalayas on that day," and I was like,
Oh,
we
well.
really got to get you on
Yeah.
the show, girl.
Like it's a casual Tuesday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Just going for a stroll, no big deal. So yeah, she's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and up next on her schedule, she's set to run 100 kilometers through the Sahara Desert.
Whew, that's gonna be hot.
Hot. Feeling hot, hot,
It's
hot.
gonna be hot.
So it's interesting because I'm really, really curious because those are very different environments, right? Cold altitude, you have dry deserts, and that can present challenges, especially if you have any kind of breathing or lung issues. So
Yeah.
that'll-
What are your concerns for people doing the crossing with cystic fibrosis?
dehydration.
Okay.
That's number one. So I think we have a handful of CF warriors signed up to do the crossing this year, and I think they're all capable physically. Their fitness.
Yeah,
but
I think Ben and Sophie might be good to go.
might be more fit than anybody else doing
Yeah.
the crossing. Yeah, probably. But I think it's dehydration because they generally can produce a lot of salt, and they need to replace electrolytes. Every CF patient's different, so not all of them are the same or as salty as another. But the crossing can, because it's long and it's slow, it's one of those events where it can sneak up on you.
Mhm.
So you leave in the dark and you're paddling. You might not be sweating a lot, but you're sweating. You're nervous. You might fall in the water, and then so you don't maybe realize how much you are, how much you're sweating and you're breathing.
Mhm.
And then the sun comes up and it's not broiling hot yet, right? It's like that first few hours of the morning. It's nice and cool. And so I think people's biggest mistake can be that they don't eat enough periodically to make up the calorie burn,
Mhm.
and they're not constantly hydrating. And it really hydrating before the event is so important. Like, overloading in terms of hydration. So, you've got every little drop to juice out of you on the day of the crossing.
Are you laughing because of the way you're putting this juice out of you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making
No,
sure. I was like,
I started to say leak, but then I was like, perspire. You will be perspiring a lot.
so you went with juice out of you instead of leak.
Well, that was all I really could come up with. It's
Okay.
been a long day.
No,
It's been a
all
long
good.
day.
All
Yeah,
good. I was just making sure I understood.
Yeah, just making sure.
Okay.
But yeah, and so you've really got to be well prepared as far as nutrition and hydration. And I think Sophie, out of everybody, she's got a leading edge there because she is already a fitness expert and somebody who promotes this and advocates on behalf of health and wellness in the cystic fibrosis community.
Mm-hmm.
Do
I hope she's not having trouble calling in.
Wait, is Sophie on the line?
No, I
No?
would have said, hey.
She's calling all the way from the UK, everyone. So
Okay.
we're going to be patient
Maybe-
with her.
We shouldn't have any problems because we do have UK shows.
Yeah, no, I know. We've
Yeah.
had people call in, so hopefully,
Maybe we can ping her.
yeah.
Can you ping her? Is there a way to ping?
How do I ping her? Can I
Ping.
juice her?
Can you, ping.
Can I ping her?
Is she
How
calling
do I
in
ping her?
via
Yeah.
number?
She
or
did-
like
she did
via
comment.
Skype?
She commented earlier on the show.
She
So
did.
let's see. Reply. Are you?
And speaking of my teams,
Oh,
we got her.
We're gonna hear a little bit of Skype.
Oh, there we
music.
go. Oh, that's a great.
so
And we have
Hello.
Sophie.
hi, Sophie.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you.
Good. I'm so glad you didn't have any trouble calling in. We were worried.
No, I'm here now, don't panic. I'm here now.
Well, welcome to the Epic Love Radio Show.
Thank you. I have been listening in. I probably got a bit distracted listening and then was like, oh my goodness, I'm
I'm supposed to.
This-
I'm the guest today.
This speaker they're talking about sounds amazing. Yeah, thank you for joining, Sophie. We have been obviously informing the audience here about some of the wild adventures and what you have been on a path of inspiring people. But let's take it back a little bit. So where kind of did all this begin for you? You know, and take it back as far as you want to go. But let's start there.
Okay, so it's interesting because I've been really lucky because I've always grown up in a household that loves sport and fitness. But my dad was a marathon runner, and I can still remember the day where he dragged me out of the front door and was like, "Come on, Sophie, you need to get out." And I struggled to run a mile.
Wow.
Which kind of is a bit crazy to think about now, considering embarking on over 100 kilometers in a desert.
And
something else.
How old were you at that time?
Possibly about 10.
10. Okay.
Yeah. So my dad was like, well, basically, for you to keep well, you need to go and do some exercise. You can't just sit down. Like, your life isn't about that. So, and fitness started with him, which I'm very lucky to have. But the craziness started about 6 years after that, because I found myself in an unfortunate situation where I'd been so well and never been in hospital, never had a hospital admission, and then found myself where I dropped 40% lung function for no real reason, and the doctors obviously were a bit worried because you know how CF is, sometimes can be a little unpredictable. So they rushed me in and did all these tests, pumped me full of all these medications, and I just remember so clearly the consultant at the time saying, "I told you CF was always going to catch up with you. You will only have a few more years left to live." And bearing in mind I was 19, I was like, "Oh wow, that's kind of crazy to think, isn't it? You know?"
Yeah.
You're telling someone who's 19, who's, you know, optimistic, full of hope, basically to shatter all of that and give up. And I remember saying to him, "Well, I really appreciate your opinion. However, I don't believe you. I'm myself, and I don't want to have a statistic put against me. So I'm going to go and climb Kilimanjaro in 6 months, whether you like it or not."
I love that.
And yeah, well, he did. He was like, "Well, I can't give you permission." And I said, "Well, I'll find someone that will, and then I'll prove you wrong, because I'm determined to show that CF isn't what you think it is, and you can have a full life with it." Because I think this is the point. Like, sometimes when people ask me how I feel about certain medications that are available or not available in the UK, or how I feel about a cure, and my immediate reaction is, I would rather have those who are in need have the things that I don't need, i.e. the medications, or even if there was one day a cure came around, a cure, because I can look after my health well myself. But equally, while we're in the situation we're in, you know, prevention is better than cure at the moment. So if we can treat the cause of CF, and for me that is via fitness, nutrition, mindset, and pushing myself, then, you know, CF or no CF, you can still have an amazing life.
Yeah, absolutely. So did you recover from that 40% drop in lung function?
Oh, absolutely. I went back, climbed Kilimanjaro, summited Kilimanjaro, was, I think at the time, the second female with CF to summit, and then came back, put my results onto his desk, and I said, "Please, can you never turn around and say that to me again, although I have you to thank for pushing me, but can you please start telling people to do some exercise?" Because I worked with a physiologist at the time to try and figure out what was going on with my lungs, and within an 8-week period we'd improved it by 20%, and then eventually got it back up to 105% where it should have been in the first place.
Now what were you doing during that time frame, that as a part of that process?
So, you know, I was 19 at the time, so I retrained into being a personal trainer. I re-educated myself in what my body needs to survive and thrive, and that included the nutrition side, because I think, I'm not sure about in the US, but in the UK, the information that is given to those with CF and nutrition is absolutely diabolical. And even to this day, they're told to eat high sugary snacks to keep the calories up, when in reality, if anyone ate that, especially with inflammatory condition, you know, you're never going to be on a winning streak. So I basically changed up my diet, pushed myself in training, and actually just took myself away and thought, if you want to improve something, you have to work on it. So I took myself away, started actually pushing my lungs, getting out of breath, becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable, and realizing that within that barrier, that's where the growth and the strength comes from to improve your lungs. And if I can do that, then there's so many people out there who can equally do that. Maybe not to the same extent, but every single percent is worth it.
Yeah, for sure. It always has blown me away, kind of how far behind on the times most of the information and education around what, especially nutrition wise, is disseminated in the CF community as far as that goes. And it can be sad because it can be very misleading for people who are really wanting to kind of do everything they can. So, so now tell me about the actual experience, in Kilimanjaro. Like, what was that like? I mean, were you intimidated? Was there any point where you didn't think you could do it, or what? Just give us the rundown.
Do you know what? It's one of those experiences where all I kept thinking was, if I keep going, then I'm never going to lose. So one step closer would be one step closer to that summit. And no matter how hard it went or how hard it got, but pain goes away if you stop. So, there is nothing more amazing than standing on the top of a mountain at sunrise, overlooking what felt like the entire of Africa. And the funny thing was, I have never to this day been affected by altitude, which I'm very lucky. And I slept like a baby on Kilimanjaro, on the rocks. And I think I kind of feel a bit cheated of the experience, because although summit night of Kilimanjaro will still remain one of the hardest nights of my entire existence, but everyone else around me was on altitude sickness tablets, or was being sick, or had upset stomachs, or hadn't slept. And I was like, come on guys, what are you doing? Let's go. And then they were like, we have no energy. I was like, I want to run, let's go, we're nearly there. And it's interesting, isn't it, how when you're so passionate about something, nothing gets in your way. And I was so stuck, and I was so set on getting to that top that I was like, nothing is going to stop me, because I want to prove this to myself that I was right, prove to everyone else that possibilities are limitless, and especially with a lung disease where there is so much negativity hung around people's necks, when yes, there is a lot, but equally if you can inspire people and give people hope to push themselves and follow what they love and their passions and their dreams, then anything is possible. Like, not everything fits everybody. So that statistically people are living longer with CF because education of new medications are out there. But how about retraining your mind to believe in yourself a bit more, believe that you can do it? And that night of summit night, we basically we got up 11 p.m. We started tracking at 12 p.m. and didn't arrive till 7 a.m. So that's a very long time to be walking in minus 21 degrees in the pitch black after 6 days of trekking and basically no sleep. But nothing will ever take that experience away, because whenever I'm going through a time that's a bit harder or whatever, I'm like, do you know what? I did that on low lung function, and I did that with all my friends, and it's an experience that I'd encourage anyone to try, because if you can find yourself and push yourself mentally through physical challenge, then not only do you remember or realise what you're capable of, you realise what you want. And those two things are so powerful.
So out of thank you for sharing that. And so there's kind of this list of adventures that you have been on and mountains you have climbed. What's one of the more memorable moments? I mean, I see you scaled Mont Blanc and Grand Paradiso, and you recently were hiking in the Himalayas. Is there anything that kind of comes to mind from those experiences that was most memorable?
Mont Blanc was probably the phrase that went from the Sherpas. It went, if you slip, you die. Literally. We were like, great, okay. Because the mountain was so dangerous at the time, because there was a part of it that we had to rock climb 700 meters up without ropes. So they were like, if you slip, we can't catch you. So that's it, basically. And there were parts where they were so narrow, walking up and putting our ice picks in and things like that. And they were like, oh, we lost a guide last week falling off this bit. We're like, oh, great. Literally, if you slip, you will die. But it's one of those things where I get told quite a lot, which I'm hoping is a compliment, that I'm very good at staying alive and very good at not dying. So in a situation where you're told not to die, I think it's very good. But getting to the top of a mountain that feels like you have been climbing a mountain forever because there's so many fake summits, and then standing on the top of the world that it feels like, and it's so silent, there is nothing quite like that. And Mont Blanc was just special because I got to share it with some amazing friends. And actually, I'd only been given a week's notice that I was going. So, you know, it just shows what you can do if you just say yes and learn along the way. I think sometimes naivety is power as well as knowledge. Because you just never know. And we basically had to summit Gran Paradiso first to prove that we could do Mont Blanc because it was an easier mountain.
Right.
However, when you're sidestepping along a ledge with a sheer drop of at least 300 meters underneath you, I'm not sure which one was harder, because I think at that moment I was like, if one of these rocks literally slip, all of us fall, and there's nothing we can do about it. It was one of those surreal weeks of my life where I was hanging off the edge of mountains for a few days. You know?
I am not a big fan of heights. I think I would rather paddle across the ocean over and over again than be on the edge of a 300-meter mountain.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Did you ever get vertigo?
No, I haven't actually. My mum gets vertigo a lot, so she would have hated it. And the phrase that come into my mind that she would have said to me would be, "Please don't go near the edge."
So that's some of the things that you've done and accomplished physically. What are some goals you have set up for yourself this year?
So I'm doing a little bike ride, as I'm referring it to. It's 1,000 miles. A little bike ride.
1,000 miles?
Yes. And the funny thing is, to this moment in time, I've never sat on a road bike, so.
Hey, I hadn't paddleboarded when I signed up for this crossing for here, so.
Amazing to know.
So where is the bike ride? What's this trip look like?
So it's the ride across Britain. So it's from John O'Groats to Land's End. Just a little way down.
Wow. And when is that?
It's in September, so I've got ages yet, so I've got that to train for, which is great.
So what does the typical day in Sophie's life look like, or a typical week, you know, in terms of your training and your therapies and, you know, just taking care of yourself and preparing for these epic adventures?
So for me, sleep is everything. So I'll start with that. So I make sure I try and get 8 hours a night, because I think it's one thing that is underestimated by everybody. And I think it's so important, not only for the rest and recovery, but for our bodies to repair. And you've got to remember, because I forget actually all the time, that having CF means your body is working on overtime all the time.
Right.
And, you know, and George, and he's on IVs at the moment. He was like, "Oh, I'm a bit tired." I was like, "Really? I'm not surprised." He was like, "Why?" And I was like, "You're on IVs and you're still running around like a mad thing." He was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that." Because I think when you've been living with a disease your entire life, it is, and you're well, like, although I work hard, it can be quite easy to forget, because it's not something that's in the forefront of my mind all the time, because I'm just living my life. And I've kind of always seen it like that. So, you know, I'll get up probably at 5 o'clock every day to start my treatments, because usually I start work at 6, and I will train, you know, 4 to 5 times a week. I have a coach training me for boxing and sparring and things, which is like incredibly difficult. I don't know if you've ever boxed before, but it's like a whole new level of fitness. Especially when you've got somebody trying to hit you in the face.
You know, Mike Tyson has a great quote. He says, everybody's got a great plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't quite ready. Back in November, I had my first white collar fight. And as you do, casual. I'd actually only had 4 weeks to train for it, because I was already going to have a little walk around the Himalayas. And so when I got back, I was like, wow, I've got 10 days to go and stand up in front of 3,000 people and go and do my first fight. Like, this is ridiculous. But it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life, even if I did get blood all over my face.
And this was all out, like just a boxing match?
I think it was a charity event, right?
Yeah, it was. It was a charity event.
And how'd that go? I mean,
sadly, I lost by a point.
Oh, man.
However, the girl who was amazing that I fought, she had been boxing for a very long time compared to me. I had been going for like 6 weeks. She'd been going for years. So I didn't do too badly. However, I like to win. So there's part of me that thinks, you know what, I'm going to go do this again until I win. My mum, on the other hand, probably won't let me, won't want me to. But I love the training, so I've continued the training, continued the sparring, and still get punched in the face regularly.
Well, you can't tell by all your pictures.
Yeah,
I mean,
you look beautiful.
You look beautiful. So you can't tell you're getting punched in the face. That's for sure.
So yeah, I do that. I do boxing twice a week. I then go to the gym, lift weights twice a week, do these ridiculous treadmill sprints that I've been challenged to do because I love a challenge and people love to throw them at me. So I don't know if you love treadmill sprints.
What are they? What kind of sprints?
Pardon?
What kind of sprints?
So on the treadmill.
Oh, treadmill
sprints, okay.
Yeah, you basically, if you want to give it a go, there's only 6 of them. So it sounds comfortable, right? It's 2 minutes per sprint with a 30-second rest at 17 kilometers an hour. So give it a go and let me know how you get on. Because at this moment in time, I can only make 5 and then have to drop it back to 16 for the last one because I'm not sure whether I'm going to fall off the treadmill or not. So, but I have to say, it is the only thing that's ever, aside from the sparring, got my heart rate up so high and got my lungs feeling so epic after. So
wow.
It's a good one to get in there.
Yeah, that's interesting because there was a coach here in the United States. I think he had a kind of a methodology. I think it was like the Sprint 8 workout, and it was something similar where you sprint, you're on for 60 seconds, you're off for 2 minutes. He did it with some professional athletes, and what was interesting is it actually showed that sprints, help build your muscle, obviously differently than any other kind of running. But one thing it does that also was effective is it boosts your natural human growth hormone levels really high, yes. Like your HGH. Like, so if you sprinting for some reason activates your muscles in a way that releases more HGH naturally, which affects everything in your body.
Fitness though, because I think if you can take the time to understand it, you can push yourself. Like there was one of my friends put up a quote, something like, if you underestimate the power of nutrition, you're underestimating what your physique can successfully do.
Right.
So, I think, do you know what? Like, what I've got to thank CF for is it has given me this massive desire to understand the capabilities of myself and my body.
Right.
Because I love being able to just turn my hand to something and be like, I couldn't do that, but now I can. Or I probably shouldn't be able to do that, but I can. So, I love to be able to show what can be done because then hopefully it will encourage other people to be like, what, I've always wanted to try that sport. And I'm going to go and do that and see what happens. Because I think it's amazing what you can and can do when you simply just try.
Right. So we've got, I think, about 6 or 7 minutes left on the show. So I'm curious, who do you look up to? Like either growing up or now, are there any particular inspirational leaders or athletes that you look up to that you follow?
Well, I love, because I used to sprint on track. So when I was going through school, I was sprinting for county on 400 meters. So I did that. So a lot of the athletes on track I love, because it's such a powerful sport, because you have to kind of have all elements of strength, power, flexibility, focus, mental strength, everything.
Right.
But obviously, a lot of the CF-related athletes like Josh Llewellyn-Jones, Ben Mudge, George Evans, because I think they're all people that just want to keep pushing themselves and seeing what they can do and keep defying CF and going for it and things like that. And there's, what's her name? There's a girl on Instagram who I keep sending everyone's to because I think she's just an athlete. She's called Kaisel Fit, but she's literally incredible, and I just want to be her, basically. She's just so powerful and strong, and is herself as well, which I love. She's not conforming to what social media thinks. She's just doing her thing, and she's amazing at it. So I always say to people, if you want inspiration, go to her because she's so cool.
Yeah, we'll have to check her out. What was her name again?
Let me just check my Instagram because I just want to make sure I get that right. It is. It's Kaisa Fit, so she's Kaisa Fit.
Okay, we'll check her out for sure. So we're extremely excited that you are interested in participating in the crossing in June.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, yeah, literally when I received the email from Heidi, I was like, oh my God, yes, that looks epic. Because I saw Ben do it last year and I was like, no way. That literally looks like such an adventure, and obviously I love an adventure, so and a challenge.
Have you ever done anything like that before?
I've paddleboarded a lot actually over the years, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Mainly in Lake Como.
I was gonna say, I think I saw a photo of you paddling in Lake Como. It looks like a beautiful place to paddle.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
It's one of my most favourite places in the world. Honestly, it's got everything.
Well, I know
mountains of water and ice cream.
Yeah. Well, there's no mountains in the Bahamas, but there's plenty of beautiful water. So that's for sure.
Honestly, it looks absolutely stunning. So yes, literally, it looks amazing, and I'd love to be part of it.
Well, we're definitely excited to have you, and we'll get you all geared up and ready to rock. I know we have a huge community here that is super excited that you're going to be participating and coming down, and Ben is coming again this year, so it'll be very exciting to have everybody participating, and it's a big ocean out there, so it's definitely a different challenge, but it's one that based on your personality and that, attitude of if I keep going, I'm never going to lose. That's the kind of attitude you need for sure when you're going 80 miles across the ocean. So.
I can only imagine. But all I keep thinking is just imagine how the world's going to look in the middle of the ocean, especially when the sun comes up.
Yes.
Yeah. That is definitely a moment you won't forget, because you'll be totally out of sight of land at that point.
Oh, don't. You're giving me goosebumps.
That's the part I'm the most excited about too, and people keep questioning if that scares me, that when the sun comes up I'm going to be surrounded by ocean, and I'm like, that's honestly one of the reasons I signed up before even thinking how physical this paddleboarding was going to be. I just thought about the experience itself and just how much I love the ocean, and I feel like I'm going to be comfortable out there.
But this is the thing, I love the ocean because it's so humbling as well. Mm-hmm. It's so powerful, yet it can be so peaceful.
Yep. Jeremy, a friend of ours, told me, it's always crazy at the bottom, or it's always still at the bottom of the ocean. All the hectic chaos is always going on the surface, but if you look deep, it's always calm.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to keep that in mind while I'm paddling across the ocean.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sophie, for joining us this evening. I wanted to ask you if you could say one thing to young women like my daughter Piper with cystic fibrosis, what would it be?
Just never give up on your dreams. Like, anything is possible if you put your mind to it and you have the courage just to literally go for it, honestly. Because half the stuff that I've done in my life at the age of 27 is phenomenal, and it is only the start for me. And without my CF, I wouldn't have done any of it. So I'm grateful for it in a funny way. But for everybody that's younger, just don't give up, because you never know what's possible until you try.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening on the Epic Love Radio Show. You were wonderful, and we'd love to have you back, especially when you're in town. Maybe you can come live in the studio with us.
Oh my goodness, I'd love that, definitely.
Yeah, and
you're never going to get rid of me now.
Yeah. And good luck on all your upcoming adventures. Keep us posted. We'll be sharing on your behalf. And thank you to everybody tuning in this evening and joining us with Sophie. We love you all so much, and please stay tuned for next week as we roll into our 50th episode coming up in a few weeks.
Yep.
And keep promoting the positive.
Yes. Bye, guys. Love you. She's so cool.
Sophie's still on his bed. Do you want to say bye?
Yeah, can I see her?
Hold on one second. Oh, she left. Sorry.
That's okay. You good for a picture?
Mm-hmm.
Bye, everybody.